If you're a YouTuber with 1,000 subscribers and are looking to work with sponsors on every single video, here are some secrets to get into brand deals that will make you tons of money on YouTube. First of all, your channel needs to have some sort of loyal audience from top-tier countries, otherwise the sponsors will not see any benefits from sponsoring your videos. Nevertheless, there are cases when you can get your sponsor at 1,000 subscribers. At that stage, you should definitely have a business email on your YouTube About section so that companies or brands can reach you out in there. Also, make sure to create a dedicated email just for that, because once your channel grows big, you will surely get hundreds of emails per day, and I'm not even exaggerating. However, if your channel is not big enough to have companies sending you emails, then you probably need to try doing some more work and try to reach out to them first. In order to get started, you need to build a list of emails, and here are some ways to do it. First, you can use different apps like LinkedIn, Twitter or Instagram, searching for keywords like marketing, PR or brands, looking for their emails, but don't have your hopes too high, since in most of the cases it happens that their emails get so many generic messages that they will probably miss yours. So instead, let's look at the second method, which is way better according to me. You try to network with different YouTubers and ask them for contacts of companies or brands they have gotten sponsorships in the past. In most of the cases, they will say yes, because they will ask you for the same thing, and at this point you're just exchanging information. After you have a list of email addresses from different companies, you will send them an initial email, which should be short and concise, since no one will have the time to read a lengthy email listing all the reasons why they should sponsor your video. Preferably, you'd love to have a template email to send to different companies, but don't just forward it to a million companies, because they can tell if you do that. You will have higher chances if you are specific on why you want to work with them. Here you can see a template email I used to reach out to different brands, and here you have a real example. Soon companies will respond to your initial emails, but you need to know how sponsorships work and how much to charge. So generally speaking, there are two main types of sponsorships on YouTube, and that is ad reads and dedicated videos. The more common of the two are ad reads, and I'm sure you have seen that a lot. It normally lasts for about 60 to 90 seconds, where the YouTuber gives a shout out to the product or the company. The second type is a dedicated YouTube video where a creator will use a certain product or service from a company in order to show to his viewers the full course of the service. For example, if you're getting a sponsorship from a VPN company, you might need to create a video on how to download, install and use it. Or in my case, for example, I get sponsorship requests to create a dedicated video on how to create and run an AI-generated influencer, where I need to show how to use some certain websites along the way. Be careful though, as the product or service you're promoting must be related to your channel's niche, otherwise your viewers will show no interest in that video and it might slightly hurt the channel. Certainly, ad reads are way easier to do, but most of the companies would want to work with creators that are willing to create a dedicated video. The next important question would be, how much would you charge for a sponsorship? Well, there's nothing complicated about that, since there is a simple formula to follow. First, you need to calculate the average views per video on your channel. A simple way to do that is simply by going to one of your video analytics and see what the typical views per video is. Then you need to divide the average number by 1,000 and finally multiply that number by 20 or 30 to get an estimate of how much you can charge for ad reads. For a dedicated video, however, you can multiply that number by 3 or 5, since you're spending a lot of time creating that one video. Sometimes companies will tell you that they will not pay you any money but give you affiliate links, which at first might sound nice, but in most of the cases when a company offers only an affiliate link in exchange for a dedicated video, then I would certainly reject such an offer. Now that you have an idea how much you want to charge, you need to respond to all the companies that have emailed you back. Certainly, you need to thank them for responding to you and then ask them what type of ad integration they would be interested in and ask for their rates. Even if it happens that they ask you first about the rates, pretend you didn't read that, just because it might happen that their rates are higher than your expectations and you will earn yourself some extra money. It is totally normal to send emails back and forth a few times till you reach an agreement. The next step would practically be receiving a written contract which you must carefully read before agreeing to its terms. Unless you want to be like this guy who was promoting a literal scam sent by CoffeeZilla just because he was too lazy to read that the contract had it literally written at the very top that it was about promoting a scam.
Come on, Dylan. He tweeted it! I can't believe he did it! He actually did it. He just tweeted it. What an idiot. What? I can't believe it!
You certainly don't want that. Anyway, there are also a few companies that don't send written contracts, and honestly that is totally fine. Things rarely go wrong, but if they do, you have the emails to use as proof if you need to. Once you agree on everything, it's time for you to create the video and I will leave it up to you. Once you have the video ready, I would suggest you do something. Instead of sending the video through a Google link file or something, you upload it on YouTube as an unlisted video, and since the company will be the only one that will have the link, you will know exactly when they will watch your video, for how long, and when they will stop watching, so you can just work with it later. In a way that will help you a lot with revisions. Once you get the green sign from the company, you post the video and immediately send them your PayPal link so they can pay you straight away. Also, bear in mind that it is totally normal to see some dips in retention during that 90 seconds if you're promoting the company. It might slightly hurt the video, but your subscribers will certainly understand. Next, make sure to do some extensive research before promoting a certain company, since it is not good for you or your channel if you promote something that makes other people struggle. Furthermore, you don't want to find yourself in some unfortunate situations just because you couldn't say no to a huge pile of money from a Ponzi scheme company. Also, don't feel bad about taking sponsorships, because your viewers know that YouTube is hard, and if it wasn't for sponsorships, most of the YouTubers wouldn't be able to create full-time. Now, we have come to a quick guide on what you should not do when you're taking your first sponsorships. Do not agree on any brand deals that have requirements on the amount of views or time needed to reach those views. That means, if you calculate that your average videos get 3000 views and the company tells that they will pay you only when you reach the 3000 views, then certainly you need to stay away from that deal. Also, do not agree to a deal that makes the content the property of the brand. You need to be the one that has ownership of the content unless it is hosted on their platform. Finally, don't agree to pay for a product, review it, and then get reimbursed from that brand. Also, in order to get some better deals as sponsorships, you need to get more views on your channel, and if you're really struggling with that at the moment, then make sure to check out this video in here.